Right now, somewhere in North America, a person making six figures is one missed paycheck away from panic. A person making $40,000 a year sleeps peacefully at night with money already in the bank. The only difference between them is not the size of their income. The difference is whether anyone ever sat them down and explained how money actually works. Today, we are fixing that in the next few minutes. Nobody should have to learn these lessons the hard way through a maxed-out credit card or a retirement that never happens. Why nobody teaches this here is something that should make you a little frustrated. You spent 12 or more years in school and probably never had a single class that taught you how a credit score gets calculated. You never learned how an interest rate quietly eats away at your paycheck. Nobody explained why the money sitting untouched in your checking account is actually losing value every single day. You learned things you may never use again, while the one subject that touches every day of your adult life got skipped completely. That gap does not close on its own. It either gets filled by us right now, or it gets filled later through expensive mistakes. Lesson 1. Track. Every dollar, the first lesson, is the one everybody rolls their eyes at. It is still the one that changes lives faster than almost anything else. Knowing exactly where your money goes sounds boring, but it is the foundation of everything else on this list. Most people could not tell you within $300 what they spent last month. Subscriptions quietly renew. Small purchases add up in the background. Delivery fees and convenience charges chip away without anyone noticing. You cannot fix a leak you refuse to look for. This week, try something simple. Write down or track every purchase for 7 straight days using your banking app or a plain notes page. No judgment and no changes yet. Just observation. You will find at least one expense that makes you stop and think about whether it is truly worth it, and that single discovery alone can free up real money every month. Stay with me, because this gets better. Before you scroll past thinking, this is just another boring budgeting lecture, stick around. The next part is where most people actually start building real wealth. It has almost nothing to do with cutting out your morning coffee. Lesson 2, the debt trap. The second lesson is understanding that not all debt is created equal. This is where so many good, hard-working people quietly lose the game. A mortgage on a home you can afford is one kind of debt. A car loan for something you truly needed is another. Revolving high-interest debt sitting on a credit card is a completely different animal. That balance does not just sit there. It actively grows against you every single day, whether you notice it or not. A few $1,000s left on a high-interest card can end up costing you 2 or 3 times that amount over the years if you only ever pay the minimum. This is exactly why so many people feel like they are working hard, yet somehow never getting ahead. Their income is being quietly redirected toward interest instead of toward their own future. Treat high-interest debt like a fire you put out first before almost anything else. Every extra dollar thrown at that balance early is a guaranteed return that no investment can promise you. Lesson 3, pay yourself first. The third lesson flips the normal order almost everyone follows. Most people get paid, then pay their bills, then spend on wants, and then save whatever happens to be left over, if anything is left at all. The people who actually build wealth do it backward. The moment their paycheck lands, a slice moves straight into savings or investing automatically, before it ever has a chance to feel like spending money. It does not matter if that slice starts at 5% or $50 a paycheck. What matters is that it happens without you having to decide every single time. Willpower runs out eventually, but automation never does. So let me ask you honestly right now, if your income stopped today, how many days could you actually cover your bills? If that number made you a little uneasy, do not worry. The next lesson was built exactly for this moment. Lesson 4, the emergency buffer. The fourth lesson is building a cash cushion before you do anything exciting with your money. Investing feels more thrilling than parking cash in a plain savings account. But here is why the order matters. Without a buffer, one surprise expense forces you to either go into debt or sell investments at exactly the wrong time. A car repair, a medical bill, a sudden job loss. Any one of these can undo years of good decisions in a single bad moment. This is the reason so many people who technically earn a good income still feel like they are living paycheck to paycheck. There is no space between them and disaster. Start small. Even $1,000 sitting untouched in a separate account changes how calmly you handle a crisis. From there, you build toward 3 to 6 months of essential expenses at your own pace and keep it somewhere boring and easy to reach, rather than somewhere exciting. Lesson 5. Let time do the heavy lifting. The fifth lesson is the one that actually creates life-changing wealth. It is not about picking the perfect stock or timing the market perfectly. It is about starting early and letting growth compound quietly in the background year after year. Money that grows on top of money you already earned is the closest thing to a shortcut that exists in personal finance. Someone who starts investing consistently in their 20s can end up with dramatically more than someone who starts the same monthly amount a decade later, even if that second person invests for just as many total years. The early years do not look impressive at first. The account barely seems to move, and it is easy to feel discouraged. But the real growth happens quietly in the later years once the base has had time to build. The gap between an early starter and a late starter is not created by luck or by a better strategy. The gap is created by time itself. The single most expensive financial mistake is not a bad investment. It is waiting for the perfect moment that never actually arrives. Almost there, do not look away. Yet, we are almost at the finish line, and this next lesson is the quiet one nobody talks about at parties. It is the one that protects everything else you just built. Lesson 6. Protect what you build. The sixth lesson is insurance, and I know that word alone makes people want to scroll away. Think of it this way. Every other lesson we covered is about building something, and insurance is simply the lock on the door. Health coverage, disability protection, basic life insurance if people depend on your income. None of these exist because you are expecting disaster. They exist so that one bad event cannot erase years of good decisions in a single afternoon. Skipping this step to save a small monthly premium is one of the most common regrets financial professionals hear about. Usually, it only takes one phone call to fix. Why this actually matters here is the bigger picture behind all 6 of these lessons. This was never really about spreadsheets or interest rates. It was about giving you options. The person who understands their money can walk away from a job that drains them. They can handle a bad month without falling apart. They can say yes to opportunities instead of watching them pass by out of fear. That is not a small thing. That is the actual definition of freedom. It is available to almost anyone willing to apply a handful of simple habits consistently over time, bringing it all together. So to recap, the 6 lessons that matter most are tracking where your money actually goes, attacking high-interest debt first, paying yourself before anyone else gets a dime, building a cash cushion before you take risks, starting to invest as early as possible, protecting all of it with the right coverage. None of these require a finance degree. None of them require a huge income. They simply require you to start. Here's what I actually want from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which one of these 6 lessons you learned the hard way. Someone reading the comments today needs to hear that story before they make the same mistake. If this video gave you even one new way of thinking about your money, hit subscribe. We break down exactly this kind of practical financial thinking every single week. I will see you in the next one.